Guys, what is up? PIPodcast here, and today I'll be recapping the Steelers and Bengals games, and probably the craziest game of Week 1 in the NFL. First things first, I'm going to start with the Steelers and then get the Bengals, but the Pittsburgh Steelers defense dominated this game from start to finish, and they were a big reason. They were the reason the Steelers won this game. T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward, and company, Tyson Alalu, everybody on the defensive line, even the backups, just got insane pressure on Joe Burrow, forcing him into very, very bad passes and forcing him to get out of the pocket, forcing him to get out of the pocket and make some errant throws, forcing some sacks on him as well. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense was lights out. They look kind of like the Steel Curtain. Not gonna say the Steel Curtain yet, but they looked very, very good. Mitchell Trubisky threw for 21 for 38, 194 yards and touchdown. For the most part, what I saw, Mitchell Trubisky did play good. I did like what I saw from him. He took his checkdowns when he needed to. He took the safe routes when he needed to. He had some good deep balls. He had some good medium throws. He didn't miss some throws as well, but nothing too crazy of a miss. Mitch Trubisky did what he had to do and played well. And as a starter of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think Steelers could be fine with him. I think they're going to win some games with him, especially with that defense. Chase Claypool has 6 receptions for 36 yards. 6 carries for 36 yards rushing. Najee had 10 carries for 23 yards. Unfortunately, he was out from the rest of the game because of an injury to him. So that sucked. Najee Harris is a very good rusher. For the most part, he did play a lot of the game. My bad, my mistake. 10 carries for 20 yards. He didn't have the best day. The Bengals D-line did kind of shut him down a little bit. But receiving-wise is where the Bengals defense kind of got caught. Receiving, Pat Freiermuth had 5 receptions for 75 yards. Deontay Johnson, 7 receptions for 55 yards. Chase Claypool, 4 receptions for 18 yards. And then Najee had 2 receptions for 3 yards and a touchdown. So Najee Harris did get a receiving touchdown, which was nice to see. I have him in fantasy. Deontay Johnson fumbled. Didn't lose it though. Akella Weatherspoon got an interception. T.J. Watt got an interception. Cameron Sutton got an interception. Mika Fitzpatrick got an interception. 4 interceptions from the Steelers defense. Buried Joe Burrow all day. Made him question every throw he was gonna make. It was crazy. Like the first pass Joe Burrow made, the first play of the game for Bengals offense, Cameron Hayward got a sack, and then second play, very next play, Joe Burrow's first pass was a pick six by Minka Fitzpatrick. Steelers defense played very, very good in week 1. Minka also had 10 tackles. Miles Jack had 6 tackles and tackle for a loss. T.J. Watt had a sack and an interception. Unfortunately, he tore his pec, but for good news for Steelers, he will only be out 6 weeks, and he should be back. Not a season-ending injury, so that's very lucky from the Steelers. It does hurt his chances of breaking the sack record, which is not looking likely anymore, unfortunately, because he almost broke the sack record he tied the sack record last year, and he probably could have broke it this year. But unfortunately, the injury, he's most likely not going to be able to this year. But I like what Mitch Trubisky was doing with his receivers. He was spreading it out. Deontay Johnson got nice catches. Chase Claypool got nice catches. George Pickens got some receptions as well. I liked what they were doing. And the Steelers pretty much dominated. They got an early field goal. Then they got a touchdown from Najee Harris, which really helped. And then they got an interception off of Joe Burrow. And then by half, it was very close. It was kind of a dominant performance from the Steelers defense. But for the most part, the Steelers offense made enough plays to win this game. On defense, the Steelers were amazing. I don't know what you could say from that. The 14 points, one from pick six, one from Najee Harris, and then other than that, they had field goals that put them ahead in the game. Joe Burrow and the Bengals. If you're a Steelers fan, this defense could carry anybody. And Mitch Trubisky, if he plays well like he did today, you guys are going to win a lot of games. Joe Burrow, unfortunately, did not have the best day of his life. He was 33 of 53, 338 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. And I'm going to go over every single interception. 2 of them basically tipped. One of them was tipped off his receiver's hands, and then another one was TJ Watt being an absolute beast, just jumping up, and Joe Burrow just threw it basically in his hands. It was an amazing play for TJ Watt altogether. And then Joe Burrow to 2 horrible passes that were very forced and ended up being one a pick six and then one a game changer. So Joe Burrow threw some horrible passes today, but they did kind of start getting. They got a comeback. They forced overtime. Unfortunately, they couldn't win the game. I'll get back to that in a second. Joe Mixon rushed 27 yards for 82 yards, 27 carries for 82 yards. He averaged 3. Joe Mixon had a nice day. I liked what he was doing in the run game. He ran well for the Bengals. Joe Burrow had 6 carries for 47 yards too. So he ran when he needed to. Jamar Chase receiving 10 receptions for 129 yards and a touchdown. A late touchdown for the Bengals to get them back into this game, which was nice. Jamar Chase, their connection is carrying over from last year, and I love to see it. I think Jamar Chase is an amazing receiver, and Joe Burrow is going to use him well. Joe Mixon had 7 receptions for 63 yards. Hayden Hurst had 5 receptions for 46 yards. Tyler Boyd, 4 receptions for 33 yards. T. Higgins, 2 for 27. Unfortunately, T. Higgins was out the rest of the game due to a hamstring injury, so we didn't see him after the first quarter. So unfortunately, T. Higgins got injured. Joe Burrow fumbled twice and lost it once. The Steelers' defense were eating. They were putting pressure on Burrow. They were making life miserable for him. Credit to the Steelers' defense. Mike Hilton had 8 tackles. Logan Wilson had 6 tackles. B.J. Hill got a sack. But for the most part, the Steelers' defense was the main highlight for both teams. The Bengals did end up coming back a little bit. They were trying to make a comeback and actually was supposed to win this game because they threw a Jamar Chase touchdown and and then they just needed the extra point to go up 21-20 and win the game, but Evan McPherson missed the extra point, so it went over to overtime, unfortunately. Tyler Boyd did get a touchdown from Joe Burrow as well, leading Joe Burrow to a comeback. They started coming back slowly, and I liked what they were doing. They were able to stop Mr. Trubisky to 3 and out. Their defense came up late and got them some stops to be able to come back in this game. And then in overtime, Joe Burrow did drive down the field after the Steelers punted, after the defense did the job in overtime. And Evan McPherson missed the game-winning field goal. So that was rough for him as well. He missed the game-winning field goal, which hurt badly. And then Mr. Trubisky drove the Steelers down the field, and Chris Boswell hit the game winner, and the Steelers won that game. Credit to the Steelers, they were dominating Joe Burrow and company all day throughout the game. The pass rush was too much for Joe Burrow. The defense was just locking down in coverage as well. Late comeback from Joe Burrow, but not enough because Evan McPherson missed the extra point, unfortunately. Unfortunate for them. In overtime, the Steelers punted first, and then Evan McPherson, like I said, missed the field goal. So unfortunately, that didn't help at all. And then Chris Boswell actually missed the field goal as well, so the Bengals had another chance, but the Steelers defense locked them down again, and they punted, and then Steelers actually got their field goal to win the game. I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals are going to be fine. I think this is week 1. No one really knows each other. There's a lot of week 1 overreactions. I think the Bengals are going to be fine. They're going to be able to compete. But if I'm the Bengals, I'm a little worried about the Steelers and that defense and that pass rush and that team. If Mitch Trubisky is playing well, they have everything at their disposal. They have wide receivers, they have running backs, they have defense. It's going to be scary if you're a Bengals fan because of the Steelers. And Steelers can win some games if they do everything like they did this game. They're going to win a lot of games. But for the Bengals, I think they can win them plenty of games. I think they can make the playoffs again. They just got to be able to protect Joe Burrow. Saw his revamp line. It didn't work out. Granted, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers, a pass rush, one of the best pass rushes in the league. It's always hard for anybody to go against. But Joe Burrow was getting pressured like crazy. They tightened up to help them come back late in the game. So I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals are going to be fine. But credit to the Steelers for dominating through 5 quarters of football, technically. And then ended up getting field goal thanks to Evan McPherson's missed field goal. And Chris Boswell redeemed himself from his missed field goal in overtime and then won them the game. So thank you guys for watching. That was a fun week 1 matchup, probably the craziest game of week 1. It was so fun to watch. And then subscribe if you're new to your channel. I'll be doing these game recaps of every single game every week. So look out for that. And thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Thank you for watching the PI Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and tune in next time so you don't miss the latest news in the NFL world. You can also follow us on TikTok at PIPodcast and on Twitter at PIPodcasters. Until next time.